Arbery, your gut reaction after listening to that for 2 hours?
I just, like I said, I ain't really shocked because I already know all that hate was in them three men. But it's just really a shame that they got that much hate in them for African American people. It's just really a shame. Those people roaming around our neighborhoods, and when they hate African American people like that, that's just really bad.
You knew a lot of that, if not all of it, was coming, but how hard was it to sit there and listen to that?
It's hard, but I'm just glad the world see it. You know, that's what I'm glad about. I'm just glad the world see what kind of hate, man, that hate African American people that run our streets and hate our children. I got grandbabies, and I seen a little baby on the stage dancing.
Oh my
little
goodness.
baby.
My Lord.
Don't matter if you a kid, black, that kid ain't did nothing to you. You hate that baby too because he black. Man, that's a sickness. That is a sickness in those, that Travis Michael, he was a very racial hateful man. But I didn't know where it come from. It come from his family, mom and dad and all of them. It's a trickle of the bloodline.
Were you surprised? How confident are you that this testimony, even though it's hard to listen to, that it's having an impact on the prosecution's case? How confident are you that it's resonating?
Because they showing that this ain't something that just started with them being hateful. It go way back. So it's telling you it's a history with them on hating black people. I want to know how many more black people got mistreated by them.
Killed.
I'm telling you.
As you sat there through all that, what is there one that just stood out to you that exemplified all this to you?
Oh, definitely, all of it. That concern every African American people when you got people sitting around and not hate like that. They hate. They don't care what age you is. They hate like that. You just black color. That's just bad all the way around.
Were you surprised not to hear much cross-examination at all from some of the other defense attorneys? I mean, Amy Copeland went up and said that, context is important and you can't hear the inflection in the voice that Travis McMichael in those comments. What do you say to that?
First of all, one of the worst examples was given. The child. The child. Come on. The child. What could the child have ever done to him? He had no clue what that child would grow up to be. But here's a child showing off his talent on Ellen. I mean, how many children are out here who dance that get on Ellen's show because they're so exceptional? But they're going to make it all about hating the NAACP, making fun of Rosa Parks. I mean, talk about
Martin Luther King.
It was just ugly to realize how much and how deep that ugliness goes. I mean, that is, I think, exemplary of everything. The other thing is, please note how many hate messages right around the time of the killing. Within not even a full month of the killing. Here you have people expressing hate towards black people in general. When I came in earlier this morning, I talked about no remorse.
No.
And when I heard the one about I would have as much remorse as I would for a coon, a dead coon, I said, okay, there we go. I mean, the problem is, it's so noisy today.
Fires.
You know why.
The problem is that they had, not only was it that they had it in them, but look at the expressions of how much he wanted to act on it, to act on the hate. How he expressed over and over and over again how his desire to act on the hate. You know, people say everybody's entitled to their own views, their own expressions, their own thoughts, their own whatever. But he wanted to act on the hate. And he did.
He did.
And he did. That's the bottom line that you got to draw from this, is that this wasn't just coincidental. They were laying in wait. The trap was already set.
Yes.
Poor Ahmaud.
Yes, it was.
Poor Ahmaud. He had no clue what he was running into. He thought he was just running into a nice, pretty neighborhood. That he could, that with nice, beautiful shade trees and people in their homes and thinking about a future and going into a house and looking at it and thinking about, oh, if I could only own a house, not realizing that hate, quicksand of hate was just everywhere on those streets. He didn't see it because he didn't think like that. You got to have a special kind of mind to wake up every morning just hating. I mean, and to see incidents and to take things to the degree that they did. I mean, this is very, very sad. And I mean, and what you see also is all their friends.
Yes.
They're walking the streets right now.
And you don't know who they is.
Right, they're walking the streets.
That was my number one point.
They're walking the streets.
They exposed the McMichaels and Roddy Bryan, but they failed to expose the ones that was text messaging them, just using their initials. And this the sad part about it, that they work with them.
Yeah.
They live with them in the same neighborhood, and some of us probably work with them as well. And for them to use initials, I feel like they should have been exposed as well as the McMichaels and Ryan Brody.
There you go.
That's the part that you got to keep looking over your shoulder about. Them type of people in this world still. In little old Brunswick, Georgia. I put it like that. In little old Brunswick, Georgia, they need to be exposed as well.
So we can.
That's my point.
And one other thing I want to say really quickly about the hate, because we all got a little time to eat, is that think about this. The whole series of emails from Roddy Bryan, who we were told was the innocent guy.
He was a deal.
And here we find out that every MLK Day, he's hating. We find out that he's hating on his daughter's boyfriend. Now, what you notice did you notice one thing about all those texts about the boyfriend? There's nothing about his character. There's nothing saying, oh, he's a bad person. He does this, he does that. It's just that he's black. It's only about the fact that he is black. And he translates the black into what? The N-word. Nothing else. So, this just shows you pure racial hate. Don't try to make excuses for this kind of hate. And also, you can tell these are conversations you can tell between family members too. It's clear. These aren't outsiders. So this is very, very distressing. And I just really worried about what all this means. And then that post, it still continues, right? Because the post from the May post of 2020, where they're trying to get the private road, talking about the circus. You know what the circus is? The circus is people coming to where Ahmaud was killed to pray for his spirit, to see what happened. That's the circus, really? I mean, I just think that we have to look at this, that it continues. It's not over. And that neighborhood needs some cleansing. They need some racial healing like I've never heard of. And they need to really be thinking not of gates, not the gates that they want to put up to keep people out, but the gates they should be putting up in their hearts to keep the hate out. That's what they should be doing.
That part.
I want to answer your question that you asked about the defense attorneys. No, I was not surprised that they did not cross-examine. You remember in their opening statements, they said, our clients made racial statements. They made racial slurs. So what are you going to get up there and say? I mean, the only thing they could do was ask to show those videos. And
hope that makes the jury upset.
Hope that the jury will say, oh, yeah, well, he should have called them savages. Look what they did. Or something like that. But so it did not surprise me that they did not question. They want to get as far away from those slurs and those email posts as they can. They want to get to the other evidence because they know that that really hurts their case in their client.
And as you heard repeatedly, the continuing objection. You did hear that, right? That they continually renewed their objection to any of those coming in as evidence. So that was also another element of this. Is that, it's just, I don't know if you sit there like we do. We look across and see their faces, We look at their faces, and we don't see remorse. Thank you.
I want to say one more thing. It was on my mind.
Go ahead. Okay, gotcha.
About Mr. Rodney. When you see two white men chasing a black kid, if you wasn't racial, why you join in it?
Right.
Come on.
That's right.
And why didn't you say what's wrong? Need help, or just leave it alone?
Come on.
Because
Right.
he
Call
was
911.
racist
Come on,
because he
come on.
didn't like his own daughter boyfriend.
Right.
So
And
we
the-
already knew he was racist.
And the evidence don't show that.
yeah. it
And
showed.
what in the PT saying we didn't raise her to be like this?
Mhm. Come on.
Come on.
All right.
All right.
Thank you guys.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Ruby? Ruby? Are you Ruby?
Uh-huh.
Okay.